3 up, 2 across, tap that play button 3 times, and walk through the archway into Dialogue Alley. Hello, and welcome to the show. Dialogue Alley is a show about Harry Potter books, book translations, and all other things magical. I'm Melanie from the Harry Potter Collection on Instagram, and with me is Erik from Nocturne Erik.
Hello.
And Carly from All the Pretty Books.
Hello.
So for those of you that are new to our show, I'm a Harry Potter collector of book translations, and so is Erik and Carly. And we're all found on social media, on Instagram. Carly's all over the place. And you can find this podcast on Instagram, too. So we're going to talk about some cool books today.
Yeah, because we like books.
Absolutely.
We do.
Yep.
I mean, we like other Harry Potter stuff, too. But
right.
I think the books are really the thing that we all share in common.
And we know the most about.
That's right. So,
and we spend the most money on.
Oh, gosh.
I suppose. I don't know. Well, it depends how many Vera Bradley bags Melanie bought at the last sale.
Listen, I bought no bags.
Oh, sorry. A pencil case.
A laptop case, a pencil case, a notebook, and a pop socket. And they're all officially here, and they're all amazing. So
Vera Bradley
just
has pop
saying.
sockets?
They do. It's amazing.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it matches my phone and everything. I'm so happy about it.
That's so cool.
Yeah. So there's a nice little follow-up.
Someone I know heard that Vera Bradley was selling Harry Potter related things, and they were going to go buy some because they heard it here on the show.
That's so
Get
cool.
out.
May or may not be someone that lives at my house.
But it's still someone new buying their stuff.
That's true.
Well, you tell her I fully support that.
Oh, I do too. I looked at some of the stuff online. It was actually pretty cool looking.
It is. It's so great. And like everything is super durable, super well made. Like I've been happy with everything.
Good.
It's good stuff. So today we're going to be talking about our favorite book covers, some of our favorite book covers. I know we had mentioned that in our last episode that was going to be something. We all had such a difficult time narrowing it down to 5, let alone 4, let alone 3, but we somehow are going to just mention 3 of our favorite book covers and 1 of our favorite sets. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. We also have a little bit of news. We'll talk a little bit about what we're reading or what we're watching. And as always, we'll have our translation of the show. We have a question that we're going to answer today, and it should be a fun show.
It should be fun.
Should be
and
great.
Carly's back, which is great.
I know we missed you, Carly.
I know. We're having another bad storm right now, but it's not as scary as last time.
I was worried that you were going to be picked up with a tornado and wind up in
We
Oz.
had big old microbursts, but no real tornado-y things, just bad microbursts.
It's still terrifying.
Yeah, it was.
I feel like if there are people listening from outside of the United States, they're going to think that all we deal with here is tornadoes all the time, which I guess is true depending where you live.
Right. And we're having a fair share of crap right now, weather-wise.
Oh, not good. Well, why don't we get into some news?
Okay.
All right, let's do it.
So the news, we don't really have a lot of news this week. I can't think of anything that's been announced. Can you guys?
No, but I'm curious to hear your opinion on the Jim Kay Magical Year book.
Okay.
I
that
agree.
Melanie and I talked about last episode. What do you think about it?
Well, I mean, yeah.
Well, all right.
So we're
that's
pretty
the
much
next
on the
item
same
of
page.
news.
Yeah, I love Jim Kay's work, so I'm not in any way talking badly about that. But I feel like it's a filler for book 5 not being done.
I agree with that. I also
Agreed.
think we didn't really mention last week when we were talking about it, but I think that what's going on is the fact that, yeah, book 5 isn't done. He needs more time to work on book 5, but also like what we're getting in replacement of that is just work that's already done, that's easy to kind of throw together into a book to make some money because people like us are going to buy it. So,
well, I probably won't.
I'm still going to buy it.
Well,
even though
I
I'm
already
mad
have
at it.
most
You're going to
of
buy it.
these.
You know you'll buy
No,
it.
I won't. I'm holding myself to that. I have to have a
because
boundary.
I'm going to get it, and I'm going to post like 3 pictures of some of the exclusive art that is yet to be released, and then you're going to be like, oh, I guess I want it. And then you're going to buy it.
We'll see. We will see.
So you're going to like go on like Barnes & Noble, and you'll be like, oh my gosh, I have like $8 left on this gift card, and it's on sale.
I never get Barnes & Noble gift cards, so that's fine.
Well, you're going to find one while you're moving. You're going to open a book that you haven't opened in a long time, and it's going to be there waiting for you. And it's going to say, spend me on this Jim K. Magical Yearbook.
Mm-hmm.
See?
Yeah, we'll see.
That's how it's going to happen.
will see.
I had a premonition. I had a dream about it last night.
Oh, okay. We'll see. We'll see. I'm getting my bookshelves a lot more in order, so that's, I guess, news.
All right.
I still can't find my Tibetan books, so they're somewhere. I still have 41 more boxes of books to go through, you guys. 41.
Oh my goodness.
cow.
I know. It's just so much.
Although, you have to feel some relief because you not being able to find your Tibetan books in 41 different boxes is still a lot easier than other people that don't have them at all trying to find the Tibetan books.
Well, if I can't find them, then I still don't have them at all.
Well, they've got to be there somewhere.
They
Where
have
else
to
would
be.
they
I found everything around the Tibetan books. I found the books that come after and before, but no Tibetan books. So they were, I mean, I know they were placed in a box. The shelves were moved, so they wouldn't have stayed. I'm just befuddled.
Did you label your boxes when you packed
No,
them
I didn't
up?
have
Just
time.
curious. Okay.
Aw.
It was such a quick move, and the flooding and all of that stuff, and things were just falling apart. So no, I didn't have time.
I'm still, like, honestly, and it's, like, not cliche to say, but I am so surprised at the amount of water that was in your apartment and the fact that you got all of the books out with none of them damaged.
Yeah.
Me too.
I was by the time that they drained our apartment, they drained off about 6 inches of water.
Which
Crazy.
is insane, right? I mean, you texted me like a short video clip of your apartment that day, and I'm like, wait, you got all of your books out of there that were in there? And that was more than 41 boxes because that's how many you have left.
Right.
To
It
unpack.
was, between my sale books and the books in my collection, it was about 1,600, 1,800 books that were brought out within probably half an hour.
Wow.
Yeah.
You probably burned like 20,000 calories.
Yeah, it was a lot of really running, and I was running barefoot in freezing cold water. It was so unpleasant. But
It was like the bathroom flooding at Moaning Myrtle's bathroom.
yeah, only it went everywhere. It was still, if I never have to deal with another house flooding, it'll be too soon.
Well, thankfully, at least there was no basilisk wandering
Oh,
around.
goodness.
Yeah,
Because,
or Sectum Sempra, like blood action.
Right.
whoa,
Stuff goes down in that Moaning Myrtle's bathroom.
Yeah, it does.
Let me tell you.
Seriously.
Like, I can see, like, people avoid it because of her. It's like, well, no, people avoid it because of all like the violence and evil awfulness that goes on in there.
I would. Shoot.
Well, that's
I
why
would too.
there's like this meme about like, oh, you ever wonder why girls don't go to the bathroom alone? Like, look what happened to Moaning Myrtle.
Yeah, right? You never know, and it's going to happen. It could happen to you right now,
Exactly.
sitting in Idaho, listening to this podcast.
You never know. Be careful, folks.
Right.
I was gonna ask Eric if you had any new books that landed. Did you get anything cool? Like, what's going on with you?
I mean, yeah, we talked last time about the sale that Jacob's having on Instagram, which he still has some books
Oh,
left.
cool. What
So,
books does he have?
He posted about 5 pages worth of books today. I don't know if that's his complete list that he still has. His list is still going on his Instagram page, which is at Finky the House Elf. But I bought a whole set of books from him, minus one book that I also bought on eBay. So that one's coming as well. But it is my favorite collection, which I'm going to mention later in the show, so I don't want to talk about it now.
Okay.
Ah.
But I got them, and they're books that I was always wanting to get, and buying them individually can be kind of tricky because they don't always show up, and they're no longer in print, and I felt like the price was pretty fair. And I knew they were coming from a legit person, right? I mean, Melanie, we talked about that last time, where these are books where you don't necessarily know if you're going to get the one that's in the picture because there are so many different books from this country, and you don't know if the condition's going to be good. And if it's a set that I'm collecting, I want the condition to be good because I don't normally collect sets.
Right.
Yeah, of course.
So I'll tell you more about that later.
Fabulous.
Hey.
How about you, Melanie? Anything new?
I mean, I got some books from Jacob also. Yeah, I know I said last time we talked on the podcast that I had, I was just messaging him trying to get some new books. So these aren't going to be mentioned later as like my favorite sets, but I got a set of French books from him that I was looking to complete. I had this one German book that was like the last German book that I needed to have all of the German books.
Which one was that?
Adult book 7 was the only German book that I was missing. There is one other German book that I'm missing, but it's like ultra super crazy rare. Don't think I'm ever going to get it. And maybe in this lifetime it'll happen, but I highly doubt it.
Is that the book 7 alternate cover?
Oh yeah. Yeah. That's like,
Never found.
the holy grail of German books. That is like the one.
How many confirmed people have that book that you know of?
I know of 2.
Yeah.
I think. And that would be Peter, I know has one, and I would say Lena, because she's the one that gets us all of the German books. I know.
I don't know if she has one.
She had shown me one a while ago, but it was like so crazily overpriced. Like there was no way I was going to pay the amount that that this person through her was trying to get it for. So that's the only thing. That was the closest I came to getting one, but yeah, that's.
Do you have the book 5 with the brown cover with the Roman numerals on the front?
Oh, you know what? No, I don't have those, but I don't know. Yeah, I didn't count those in my German set. I guess I probably should in order to consider the fact that like I would have all of the German books, but I don't know. There was just something about them that I was like, I don't. Do I need these?
Yeah, I wasn't particularly drawn to it either, especially knowing that like
I either have I have that one, but Lena has it still. I think it's there's several Roman numeral books, and I don't know which one I have anymore.
There's just so many German books.
Yeah, it's been so long, and I actually need to message her.
Or maybe if she's listening, she can message you.
Yeah, I mean, I should message her though. I've had so much go on that everything kind of fell to the wayside.
Oh, well, she does listen to the show. She's caught up.
Yay!
So oh, cool.
Maybe she will message you.
Aw,
that would be great.
It's awesome.
And if you're listening, I hope you're having a great day.
Yes.
Our first shout out.
First shout out. And if you want a shout out, let us know you're listening to us, and
we'll see what we can do.
Right.
We'll see what we can do. We can pull some strings. Anyone have anything else?
Oh, yeah. I found Belarusian book 2 coming, so that's coming to me.
Oh, nice.
Yay.
Yeah, I didn't know if I would ever get that because books have gotten really hard to get out of Belarus, but I have it.
Yeah, even book 1. Even book 1's hard to get out of there now.
So I have book 2 coming, so that will be great. It will be coming right around June 10th, according to my postage updates.
And these, I think, Melanie, we talked about this last time. That's one of the new translations to use the Brian Selznick cover.
Yeah.
Yes.
So cool.
And it's hardcover.
Yeah, I love it.
Which is awesome because they're really, like the original US ones are softcover.
Yeah. Pretty cool.
And it almost removes the need for me to get like the Danish hardcovers with the Selznick art just because I've got the Belarusian.
But not quite, though.
Right. I'm still going to wind up with them. We all know that.
You're still debating on that, but you're not going to get the Jim K. Magical Year.
Yeah. I've already know. I already own so many things. I have to have a line.
Do you?
Okay.
I do.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I really do.
Well, I think that's it for the
Yeah, I
the
think that's
news.
all the
Clearly
news.
a super busy week for all of you listeners out there. Not really. Mostly a busy week for us getting things.
Yes.
But again, if you would like to get things, there are actually, I should mention other things. There are quite a few people right now selling books on Instagram.
I'm about to
which
start
I don't
listing
know.
some when I go through my boxes. So I will also be listing some books for
Carly's
sale.
going to join
Yeah.
that train. I know.
Oh, Sean is too, right?
Yes, Sean McAllister.
Yeah, I was going
I was going to say Sean is because I just bought some books from him also.
Nice.
Yeah, and Brock is selling Valencian. I think he has 3 available.
wow.
Which is crazy. And then he also has some Galician available
Nice.
as well, which is hard
Yes.
to get. And then the Wizarding Nomad, I can't remember the handle off the top of my head. He just sold a Hungarian Indiana Jones, which I hadn't seen.
Oh,
for
wow.
sale.
I wonder what he sold it for. I haven't seen one either.
I
don't
would
know,
be
but he
curious.
sold his today.
Oh, I want to say I may have actually seen one up on eBay recently. I think it was that one. I could be wrong, so don't quote me. But I think I saw it up for sale for like a lot of money.
Yeah, I feel like that book has been like I feel like they were all on eBay for such a long time, and now I haven't seen them on open market for a crazy amount of time. So
Yeah, I don't
If you
think many
see
were
it.
made.
oh, that one would be a really good favorite cover too. Oh
I was
shoot!
thinking
I
about
thought
that,
about
actually.
picking that one, but I decided not to.
Oh, I love that one.
Well, this will not be the only time we talk about our favorite cover art, because honestly, I think between the 3 of us, the different art was a huge factor of why we started collecting all these books.
Absolutely.
So whether it's like gorgeous art or really, really weird art, we love them all, except for maybe one, Carly.
That wasn't pointed at all.
You guys got to stop ripping on Occitan. I think it's great.
I don't hate it at all. Carly just seems to have some beef with how bad it is.
It's just not pretty. It's like all the pretty books but one.
Yeah, it's like all the pretty books and a book.
Carly's alter ego is
And another book.
all the pretty books except Occitan.
And the language is so cool.
Oh boy. Well, they only made 2.
Oh, there we
so
go.
you're good.
Yes.
Well, I think we've rambled enough. So
Let's go on to the
let's
main
move on.
segment.
Let's move on and ramble some more about some of our favorite cover art.
All right.
Okay, so for our main segment today, we're going to talk about our favorite art for any book, really, any Harry Potter book.
Yep.
That was hard.
So I think I have a lot fewer books than the 2 of you, because mine are mostly book 1. So I think it was a little easier for me to pick from my selection, but I know it probably took both of you longer. And now this is favorite as of like right now, right? I mean, honestly, I changed my mind a lot about these, and I always kind of discover something new because they're all so cool.
Yeah, I think that my favorites that I'm going to be talking about are like relatively new books, but besides the ones that I'm going to talk about, I have like 5 or 6 others that I'm crazy, heavily obsessed, love, like can't stop staring at books. So
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
and
yeah.
I think we all share some of those in common too. So we're going to try to diversify a bit here. So we're not going to double up on anyone's list. We already have eliminated the doubles. But if we want to throw a woohoo in there, if it's one that you also think would be in your top 3, we could do that
Okay.
as well.
oh, sounds great.
Well, then I will start with one that's probably on everyone's list, or should be if it's not, and that is my opinion. But it is the Swedish Book 1 cover from the original Swedish translation. And honestly, I don't use the word perfect very often, but this to me is a perfect cover. Like, I can't find anything to fault with this at all. It's just outstanding.
I would agree with that. I love the Swedish Book 1. If I were to be in the bookstore and I would have seen that on the shelf, I would have bought it without even thinking twice.
Right? I know it. Like, this opposed to the Italian one, which we keep coming back to, like, came out around the same time, and like the illustrator of this book went with this just absolutely magical scene of Harry Probably, I mean, he's on platform 9 3/4, but he's kind of floating up in the air. There's all this magical stuff around him. The colors are just so bright. The Harry Potter font is shimmery silver. The spine is blue, and the back of the book is dark blue, but it has like silver pencil writing on it. And I mean, everything is just great. If you open the book, the boards are dark black with stars. I mean, it's just an outstanding.
It's a beautiful book. And then you get those same little illustrations after, I believe, every chapter or before the start of every chapter. And plus the shape of the book, it's just almost this perfect square, and it's so well bound.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Like, that book just feels so perfect in your hand because it's like the perfect thickness. It's the perfect size. Like, I just like, that book is one that I could picture myself, like, if I could read Swedish, like, I would be reading that version of the Swedish books. It's just, it's just a perfect book in your hand.
I would. And fun fact, I actually married to, like, my best friend and her now husband holding that book. I officiated their wedding.
That's a fun fact. Was it pre-movie font or movie font?
It was.
Oh, man. Well, this is another fun fact. I know you guys talked about this a few episodes ago about, like, movie font and pre-movie font, which is one of my favorite topics, by the way. But the Swedish books only had pre-movie font for books 1 and 2. There's no pre-movie font for book 3, which I looked everywhere thinking that this book existed, and
that must have been a very close, like, deadline-wise.
Yep, it was. I had to do some deep foraging to find out that information and really prove that it didn't exist. But
where did you find that? I'm just curious because I've looked high and low for one as well.
Oh, just like, I feel like, actually, Carly, I feel like this was an adventure that you partooketh with.
Oh.
Like, you were part of this, like, investigating. This was, like, a few years ago when I was, like, crazy on the train of, I need to have all the pre-movie font books, because
I remember
why not? And I just had a list of all of the books that I thought potentially could be pre-movie, and The Prisoner of Azkaban for Swedish was one of those, like, rabbit hole kind of books, but it does not exist in pre-movie font. So,
oh, wow. That makes me feel better. So I'm going to take that one off my list.
There you go.
So, Melanie, what's on your list to start? I mean, honestly, we could do a whole show about how amazing all 7 Swedish books are from the first one.
Yes.
But we won't.
Oh, easily.
Right now, at least.
All right. So, one of my many favorites is definitely Bosnian book 4. So,
I love the Bosnian
color.
books.
They're so beautiful. The color contrast on this book in particular, it features Harry in that same Bosnian style over the Goblet of Fire, and the background of the book is this deep, rich red, and it has the labyrinth behind him, but then it also, in crazy high contrast, has this awesome teal blue on the top and bottom. This book is just like, it's amazing. The color blue that they use is so beautiful, and I think that that's probably why I'm so drawn to it, is because, like, teal is one of my favorite colors, but just looking at this book, it's just gorgeous. It's a beautiful
looks good
book.
on the shelf too. Like,
yeah,
all of the Bosnian ones do, honestly. Like,
I agree with that to an extent because I hate that they're all different sizes.
Wow,
that
okay,
irks me. True. And they need to reprint book 3 in the bigger size. We've already mentioned that.
I know. I bought book 1 in the new size, but then I was like, you know what? I'm not going to rebuy all of these in the new sizes. I'm just going to deal with the fact that they're all different and love them anyway.
I'm waiting. I have 1 and 2 in the new size, and I'm waiting on them to reprint 3.
But for right now, I will just sit here and love my beautiful Goblet of Fire because it's just stunning. It's a beautiful book.
It is. And I love how the artist renders Harry and that moment.
Oh, it's amazing. And it's one of those books too that like every time you pick it up and you look at it, you see different things. Like, okay, it has the labyrinth behind him, but it also has the dragon. And if you look at the back, it has Mad Eye Moody and it has the mermaids and the dark mark is featured on it as well. Yep. It's so
I would
cool.
say all the Bosnians are pretty good about that too. Even if they're really small, a lot of important things are featured out of the books.
Oh yeah. It's just amazing. Amazing.
We should mention too quick, like, you can still buy this book, obviously, like book 4 Bosnian. You can go to the publisher website and still buy one.
Yeah, you can go
Swedish
to the bookstore.
1, you can still find in the stores in Sweden. You could probably find it online somewhere, but it's still available.
But they're phasing it out for the Ollie Moss covers.
Yeah, which are also amazing, which...
We'll talk about that now, because that was on my list.
Okay, we'll talk about that now.
There we go. Perfect.
It was a really hard call, and I love the Swedish books also, but I picked the Chamber of Secrets from the 20th anniversary Swedish books. It's illustrated by Ollie Moss, which originated first as posters, but it's very differently, like the art is so different from the original Swedish, which are very loud and in your face and vividly colored and vibrant. And you just want to, like, if you were to see them in a bookstore, we'd probably buy them all not knowing what the story was. The Ollie Moss covers are a lot more toned down. They're like a soft flex cover, which is very different from the very hard covers of the original Swedish. And we have the little Anglia, the Fort Anglia, because it's Chamber of Secrets, of course, flying toward Hogwarts. And we have Hogwarts on the Hogwarts Castle, and the bridge and all that stuff. It's just, they're fun covers, even though it's drastically toned down and very much in contrast to the original Swedish.
Now, all 7 of these have the same, like, picture, right? Essentially?
Right.
With just different stuff going on in the picture.
Different stuff going on in the picture. Yeah, which I think is fun, too, because it's the little things that change, not the overall big image.
Right.
And I'm a big fan. Like, I love the covers that feature the Fort Anglia. For whatever reason, those are just some of my favorites.
I don't have those books yet. They're on my list. I know. It's on my catch-up list. But, yeah, I don't have those.
I forget how I got mine.
I don't know, but write it down when you remember, because I have to get them.
Oh. Okay. I got mine from Finland, because...
Was that Asta that helped you?
Yeah. Swedish is an official language in Finland.
Yeah. That's who I would probably send you to for the Swedish books, honestly, would be Asta, because they have them in Finland.
You could, but she's supposed to have a baby any day
now. Amazing.
I know. She's due any time. So congrats. And we're not going to make you go out and find books for people. No, not right now.
After you have a baby.
Aw. That's cool.
And Mel would understand.
I totally understand. Yeah. I'm like, I have my headphones on talking to you guys, but I'm subtly listening in the background to see if my baby is crying or not. But sounds good so far. So we're good.
All right. Well, I guess it's my turn. I picked book 1 in Japanese.
Oh, that's so fun.
And
is it the hardcover Japanese?
Yep, okay. It is. But mine is the movie font, which I think, Carly, we briefly mentioned this when we talked about fonts, which is one of our episodes, which not many people listen to.
It's one of my favorites. I don't get it.
And it's only like half an hour long. Go back and listen to it, because we keep talking about movie font and pre-movie font. And if you haven't listened to it,
now you'll know what we're talking about.
Now you know what we're talking about. So you can pause right here and go back. Mine is a movie font, which I think
they're
is strange,
harder to find.
Yeah, which you informed me that, so I'm kind of now proud that I have it. This was the first Harry Potter book I had that opened the opposite way from reading English, which in and of itself I thought was very cool. But the art is just very sketchy, but it's colored, and it just looks very different. And I like it. And if I'm not mistaken, I think the artist is American.
I don't know.
I think he is. I think he lives in Boston.
Ooh, nifty.
I'm quietly peeking on the inside cover.
I could be making that up, but something tells me that I'm pretty sure he lives in Boston. There's something in my gut that's telling me that I did not make that up.
The reason I think that is because I believe Sean was going to get some commissions from him.
Ah.
And that is why I'm thinking he is American. Yeah, Dan Schlesinger.
Hold on.
Interesting.
Doesn't sound Japanese to me.
Well, he does good work.
He does good work.
How do you spell?
Are you
Oh
looking
yeah,
it
I'm
up,
Googling
Melanie?
it now just because I'm like, it'll drive me crazy if I can't figure this out.
I may or may not be related to people with
It
that.
literally-
I
last
was
name.
about to say, isn't that... Yeah.
As you Google it, it says American painter. So
Yeah.
all right,
that
there
would
we
make
go.
sense why they look like American paintings.
Yeah.
Or paintings, anyway.
But they kind of don't, though. That's why I think they're so cool. Anyway, this book is just really cool, and the cover is dark blue, but if you open the book up, the book itself is like completely white with blue writing. And then if you open it up again, the inside of the boards are like obnoxious yellow.
Yes.
No, sorry. They're like a yellow-orange. Actually, they're more orange. I'd say they're more orange. But it's all done just very clean, and it looks so nice. So I would recommend purchasing this one. You still can find them.
Yeah.
They have the anniversary Japanese ones too, which are also really cool. You might not be able to tell the difference. If you've never seen the two, you might not be able to know the difference between them, but we can definitely post a picture of this one. But the fact that it opens the opposite way than we're used to reading books also is just cool. And it's printed vertically.
Yeah.
So depending on how you buy your books in Japan, they're either right to left vertically or they're left to right horizontally. They do both.
Very cool.
It almost makes me feel like I should rearrange them on my shelves so they go from right to left.
I was thinking about that too, honestly, and I don't know.
Well, you'd have to do that for a few other languages as well, but
Yeah.
You would.
it's worth dabbling in just to spice things up.
I'm not going to do that at the moment because I'm still arranging my shelves. That's a huge undertaking.
Yeah, that makes sense. Well, I can confirm, just to round out the Japanese books, that he is from Boston. Just there we go.
There you go.
Cool.
All right.
Good job on the Google.
Thank you very much. All right, so my next book that I would pick is from the new Bulgarian books that just came out.
Oh, those are so
Those
good.
So
great.
cool. So I'm going to pick book 1 from Bulgarian, probably because it features Hagrid on the front.
Yeah,
Which
yeah.
Any book that features Hagrid, like, is a slam dunk for me. But also, I just feel like the size of these books, plus the coloring, the bold colors that they use, there's different artwork throughout the book. It's just, like, it's a slam dunk of a book. It's beautiful.
It's almost like the Swedish book, but it's just a little bigger in terms of like the perfect book size. It's like the perfect dimensions. It's just bigger.
Yeah, I feel that way.
Yeah.
It feels
Like
good.
the ratio, the height to
Yeah,
width
it just
ratio.
feels good in your hands. I mean,
Yeah, the Lithuanian books do too to me.
and it's funny, Carly, that you say that because of, like, your favorite books. Like, I have your favorites in a pile next to me as well. And I would say that my favorite thing about all of your favorites is that they're all, like, these very unique, cool sizes. Like, they're all books that feel really good in your hand. They're either thick and square, which makes them really nice, or they're very big and with the extra hardcover, or the one that I think you're gonna mention next is very, like, thin and narrow when you look at
Right.
the book, and that book is phenomenal. So I think that it's so funny that obviously we love the artwork so much and we talk about that so much, but, like, I guess as book collectors and having so many different books in our hands, like, that's a really important feature, is just how awesome the book feels in your hand when you're holding it. So that would be one feature that I also love about this beautiful
Yes.
Bulgarian.
And I believe you can still buy those as well. Can you buy those?
Oh yeah,
still, Melanie?
it's new. I think it's the 20th anniversary set. So yeah, they're still out. So go grab them. The whole set's awesome.
And they weren't super expensive to get, if I remember properly.
No, it wasn't that hard, actually. I remember getting mine pretty easily.
I
Yeah.
think I got them from Sean. I think so. I know I got them from
I had a
another
website
collector,
that I
so-
got mine from.
I got mine from someone in Bulgaria.
Nice.
I think I went about it in a little too complicated of a way, but it was a great interaction with a very nice person.
Oh, that's always delightful.
Carly, what do you got next?
So we've talked about this book a bunch on the podcast, but I couldn't do a show about my favorite covers without discussing this book. So we'll talk about it briefly. It is the Asturian translation of Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. This was my first favorite cover. I fell in love with this cover before any of the other covers. I had to have it. I love the color palette. It's these very dark reds and blues and greens, and then this bright gold, this stark white. And we have a lot of hidden things, kind of like the Bosnian as well. When you look at the cover, you're always finding like, oh, cool, there's Fluffy in the castle and Fluffy's on the back. And, there's just lots of things going on in the cover, and it's just delightful. And it just has to be mentioned as my favorite.
Understandably.
I think the font is actually something that I like about this book as well.
I love the Harry Potter font.
Yeah, because the pre-movie fonts, they can really do whatever they want, and some of them are just kind of like meh. But they really tried on this one to make it like unique.
Well, this isn't even pre-movie.
Which I appreciate.
This came out after the movies. They just did their own thing.
But they made it with their own font.
Yeah,
which
they just did their own thing.
I appreciate even more.
It's very magical.
And I really like it. Like, I would have definitely bought this book had I have seen it in a bookstore and walked by. I would have been like, cool, this is amazing.
I mean, if you saw it in a bookstore, you'd probably also, like, stop dead in your tracks, like, have to catch your breath because of how rare this book is. But
right, if I were to see it now, I'd be like, wait.
What?
And actually, I did see it in a bookstore in Spain, and I did not buy it, but that's a different story for another time.
Oh, no. That's a mistake.
Well, I didn't collect translations at the time.
Well, listen.
We live and learn.
And you ended up with one in the end, so all good.
I did.
Such a good one. All right, Eric, what's your final today top favorite?
My final singles pick, I guess, if we're calling them that, is the newest Indonesian book one.
Oh, those are great.
Ooh.
Mine is in soft cover, although I believe these exist in hardcover. Do they not?
Really?
I think so.
I don't know.
It seems like I think I knew that. I bought the Indonesian set, like the new covers, a long time ago, and they didn't come.
Huh.
Oh.
There was
that's not good.
I think it was Peter also who had his books lost. I don't remember, but I think he had that happen too. And then I tried a little bit later, and I didn't get them either.
Are you guys talking about it's a set that once you have the whole set, it makes an image when you put the spines together, and it's like,
yes.
Okay.
I wouldn't know because I have only one book, but by looking at it now,
Okay.
yeah, I would say
that makes sense.
Does.
I only have books 1 through 4 of that set. It's one of those that like I've just been forever meaning to get, but I didn't know that they came in hardcover. That's an interesting thing to.
I think so. I don't remember.
I think they do too.
There's
I
a
don't know why
20th
I'm
anniversary book one that comes with a slipcase thing that goes over the whole book, and it's gold, and it has like Mary Grand Pré Harry on the cover.
Huh.
I've got that on my shelves actually, but underneath the slipcase thingy, which is just paper, it's the same book one.
You'll have to send me a picture of that. I'm curious.
Yeah, I'll do that. We'll post it on the Instagram also.
Sounds good.
Yeah. So these books remind me a lot of the Brian Selznick books only because there's just a lot of stuff on the cover, but it's all done in the same tone. It's kind of like a sepia tone background, and just by having it all the same color makes it seem less crowded than it actually is. And then every book in the series has like one prominent image on the front. Book one has a big owl. It's probably Hedwig, right? I mean, why would it be a random owl? But then, you got Harry and the gang down below, and literally every other person that's ever mentioned in the book is probably on this cover as well. But you don't really notice that until you just really kind of dive deep. But the thing I like the most about this is that the Harry Potter font at the top, which is movie font, it's in this like shiny blood red color, which is just such a contrast to the rest of the cover that I don't know. It's different, but it fits so well.
Right.
It's such a
It's
nice
a really
looking
cool
book.
book.
Yeah, and this is one that I kind of want to get more of because...
Yeah, I had a friend in Indonesia who's slowly sending me them, and because of COVID, I stopped getting, I think I've got 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah.
Well, if anyone wants to give it a try, the website is gpu.id. Give it a go.
Good luck.
Good luck. If you get doubles, let me know.
I mean, I
Okay.
need the rest of that set as well, so we can all dabble in that.
I'm sure we can figure out something.
Yep.
We can. All right, Melanie, what's your last single?
Okay, so I have a million reasons why this book is a favorite, and this book is going to be a favorite of mine for a very long time. And it is the new Slovak 20th anniversary edition for book 1.
I love the new Slovak books.
The whole set is just absolutely
breathtaking.
Dynamite. Like, it reminds me a lot of the 20th anniversary German editions, just in how they're somewhat styled. It has like very swirly kind of font, and it has like a frame on the cover. And
the box itself is just gorgeous.
The box is amazing. The style of the artwork is so just Harry Potter to me. It's just very young and fresh. The color tones that are used in it are just very rich, and it just reminds me of like an old school kind of book. And for book 1, it features Harry in a Quidditch match, and you can kind of see Hogwarts off in the distance, but the back of the book has Hagrid holding baby Harry, and I like saw this book and saw that image, and this book for the first time was one of those that like I took this book out and I put it in my purse and brought it with me to work for no other reason other than just looking at it made me happy. Also,
I love that.
Also, one of my favorite things is when I first started collecting and first started having like Harry Potter books, like one thing that I always do when I get a new book is I smell the book. Like, if you don't smell the book, then I don't know.
We all do that.
You have to.
It's so not weird at the same time.
Years ago when I got my first edition Slovak book, I smelled that book and I was like, this is the best smelling book I've ever gotten. It's the best smelling book on my shelves. You can look back on my Instagram from years ago when I posted this book, and I have like a superlative award going to the Slovak book for best smelling book.
They do.
This 20th anniversary edition book, like I opened the packaging and the whole box set smelled like the Slovak book. Like, it's just whatever like wood they use to make the paper and whatever they use to print the ink. It is just like this book, it just smells like absolute heaven. Like, just reading this book is therapeutic just because of how it smells.
I would agree.
Maybe Bratislava smells like that, and we just need to go.
Yeah, or go into a bookstore anyway, because I love how the Slovak books smell too.
It's just amazing. Like, I'm sitting here literally sniffing this book, but it's unbelievable. It also, like, the book has like that nice like soft texture to it. Like, the new Lithuanians have that, the Kazukibuishi American books have that. Oh, it's just like so soft, and it doesn't get fingerprints on it, and it's just like, what an amazing book. Well done.
Yes.
Now I need to buy these because I was holding
out. No, if you don't have them, Eric, you're really missing out. Like the covers, and
clearly I'm missing out because I don't have.
And one of the things that I love that the artist did, and Mel can agree, is that he picked moments that aren't typically on the book covers for some of these, and I love that. Like, I won't spoil it, but book 5, book 3, like there's wonderful moments that aren't typically.
I've seen them all in pictures.
They're not typically on the covers of these books, but they're still favorite moments among the readers, and he picks them and makes them just magical.
You need these books, Eric.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That's fine. I'll make it. Hey, but speaking of book smells, Carly, what is the worst smelling book? There's one correct answer.
I want to see. I have an answer in my head of one that I think smells terrible, and I want to see if that's the one that you guys say.
I want to see if Carly's thinking the same one I am.
I don't have a good answer.
Okay, Melanie,
I was going to say
yours?
Bengali, but I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that one smells pretty bad. I was going to say the simplified Chinese English bilingual version.
Oh, my
of
goodness,
book
you're
one.
right. That one does smell
It
horrible.
smells so terrible.
I
The
forgot
glue
about
they
that.
used-
One of my friends was helping me organize my shelves this morning, and he smelled it too, and he was like, "What is that?" I was like,
It's a
"It's
shame
that
because
book.
it's
I have
a
one
really
through,
cool book.
I
It
have
is
the
so
1 through
cool.
4 of them, and none of them smell good.
No, it's whatever glue they used and whatever paper they used. It's
Yep.
just not.
It's just not
Good.
pretty. And then you open up the package, and you're like, "Woo!" I forgot all about that one. Thank you.
Okay, Carly, what's your last single?
My last single, so going back to the 20th anniversary art, I really love the 20th anniversary tie. The 20th anniversary tie books, sorry. I love them. I fell in love with them when they were first posted up on wherever I first saw them, and I knew I had to have them in hardcover because they're just amazing. And the box set that comes with it is just fabulous. It is over the top, just like the cover art. I mean, this art is so detailed and so flamboyantly whimsical. I mean, and he rendered my favorite characters very differently than I'd seen before, which I definitely appreciate. I love the colors used. And I mean, honestly, all 1 through 7 of his books are really well done. I feel like everything was touched on. I don't feel like anything lacked on any of the covers. I'm just impressed.
Clearly, other people agreed because other languages have started.
Yeah,
to
they're
use
now
this
on the
cover.
Finnish books also,
Which is
you can
so
buy
weird.
Finnish with 1 through 4. I know.
I think
right?
that's so weird to me that, like, oh, you have these Thai books, and then they're also using the cover
in Finland. And what is interesting is how different the paperback cover versus the hardcover makes the image.
Huh.
Like, the Finnish books are beautiful, don't get me wrong, because the covers are amazing, but they're just a lot more toned down than the Thai books. The Thai books just are like holding magic in your hand.
They are.
Yeah. And then the Finnish books
I don't have
are...
these either.
Oh, well, Eric, you're missing out.
I have the Finnish ones that you just said were not as good.
They're just dull. Like, you look at them and they're really nice, but then you see the tie and you're like, whoa! And they have like a shape that's very similar to the original Swedish, and you're like, oh, these are nice in your hand.
Mm, they're good. The box is like the most amazing part of that set too.
I know.
Like the box it's
itself.
literally like interactive. Like if I was a little kid, like I could see myself like getting out like my little Harry Potter pops and like playing with that, like making it seem like it's a dollhouse.
And I think that's kind of the intention.
Totally.
Like, why make it that amazing if you're not going to let kids play with it?
Totally.
Or, me play with it.
Or like grown-ups play
Right,
with it.
Exactly.
As of like picturing me like making the Mina Lima dioramas, like, oh look, it's a Diagon Alley, look at that. I'm sure I was the intended market
I
for
bet.
that.
Right.
So should we pick our
Favorite
set to rule them all, I guess?
It's so hard.
It is hard. And while you guys were both talking about this, I was just thinking, so there's a huge difference between an artist that's been able to make a full set of the books after the books have already been out.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like we were talking, like the Kibuishi covers, like that was the first American set to come out when the books were already released, so you could have kind of this cohesive vision of how you wanted everything to flow.
Right.
Versus like the UK books, the Bloomsbury ones, it's a different artist.
Right.
It's not the same guy doing all the books.
And then Grand Prai's having to illustrate as she reads the book.
Right. And so, she can kind of pick a moment from each book, but not necessarily knowing down the line what's going to be important or not. So that just came into my head that I think there's two different ways to go about the set. And obviously like that's why I'm not surprised that these like Thai books that you're talking about or the set that you've mentioned that I'm not going to say until you say it.
The Slovak set.
Or the Bulgarian set too. Yeah. Or the Slovak set. Like they're done together, or the German set that none of us put on there, but is just so awesome.
Yeah.
Well, the German set is amazing.
The newest one.
Yeah, the 20th anniversary
all
German
the German
set.
sets are amazing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that is also a beautiful. And that comes with little standy dolls if you get the box set.
See, so you could play with the box.
And
I
they're
missed
they're
out
now
on the
really
Stanley
hard to
dolls.
find. The box sets with the 1 through 7 are really hard to find now, I've been told.
Anyway, my set that I picked that I mentioned I got some from Jacob. I bought book 1 in this early on and decided that I wanted all 7. And hopefully once book 5 shows up in the mail from France, I will have them all. But they are the Chinese deluxe set.
Oh, fun.
So good.
Which are the brownish books, and it looks like a scroll of parchment on the front, and there's an image. And it reminds me an awful lot, Carly, of the new Swedish books that you mentioned.
They do.
Because the book itself on the front looks the same. It's like the same setup and the same, not image, but it's enough the same where it has a theme, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But the font of the Harry Potter word is in different colors on each book. The image that they pick for the focus on the bottom is different, but it kind of has that kind of shadowy background image in the background as well. I don't know. I just think these are so awesome, and they're really not talked about a lot.
They're so good.
Which kind of surprises me, which is why I wanted to pick them, because I want to give them more love than they usually get.
Well, I think that's a good thing. I don't have them, so I always forget about them.
You don't
And
have
there's
them?
also soft cover. No, I don't. There's also soft cover Chinese deluxe books.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Fred Locked sells them periodically.
Yeah, that's who I just got book 5 from.
Oh, very nice.
And
yeah. He
believe
has
it or
the
not,
soft
okay, this
cover
is so
Chinese
nerdy.
deluxe.
Oh, okay. Well, when I bought my book 5 at the time, which was like 2 weeks ago, book 5 was the only hardcover he was selling.
Oh, that's
Oh, wow.
lucky.
And it was the only one I needed. I was like, oh,
It's
my
a
God.
perfect fit.
So it was the perfect fit. So hopefully once that gets here, I will put them all together on my shelf. But I recently posted a picture of just the ones I got from Jacob on my Instagram page. So if you want to bop over there and check that out, you can.
Yes.
And I'll probably do a picture of all 7 once they're all here.
You
But
should. They're really
that's-
cool books. I just haven't bought them yet.
Well, should I make you feel bad? Because you made me feel bad about the Thai books.
No, I already...
You need these books, Carly. If you hold them in your hands, it's like magic.
Well, I wasn't lying earlier either.
I know you're not, because I know the feeling, because I get that same feeling when I hold these Chinese books in my
Okay,
hand.
fine.
If you are like limited on space as a collector and you want simplified Chinese, like this is the one to get. It's to me the best cover of all of them. It's original to China, which
It's so good.
Yes.
They're
It's
also
good.
very thin, so that makes it good for your shelf.
Yeah,
as
they
Yeah.
well.
I've heard that.
okay. That's my soapbox.
Amazing.
Melanie,
All
what do you
right.
got?
My favorite set, and this has been my favorite set for the longest time, like I think since I've been collecting translations, is the Finnish set with the original cover art for Finland.
Ooh, that's
so
so,
good.
fun.
They are
I love
so
those.
fun, and the interpretation on these books is just so ridiculous that like I can't help but look at these books and smile. I love so
Yes.
much how Harry ages throughout the covers. Like it's still clearly the same illustrator, the same Harry, but you watch him age from books 1 through book 7. And there are just some like really, really silly interpretations throughout the whole series. Like the Dobby that's featured on there is ridiculous.
yeah.
So good.
And I feel like this illustrator is the only one that gives Umbridge like really how she's described in the
Oh, yeah.
books, which is very Toad-like.
Yeah. No,
No,
not
she's like a
toad-like.
frog.
It is a legitimate toad.
Yeah, she's
just
yeah.
drawn on the front of the book.
But the whole, like the set as a whole is just, it looks so fantastic. They're
And the
so
spines
fun.
are even fun colored.
Oh, totally. The spines are great. Like you get some unique artwork on the back of each cover. Like there's a really great Dumbledore on the back. Just the entire set is so fun to look at. I think it was the first set that I got that made me want to collect full sets of cover art. I actually think that's the
I think
set.
I remember you talking to us about that.
Yeah, that was like, because originally I started out where I was just collecting book 1, and then every so often I would dabble with like, ooh, wait, this book has like a really cool set, kind of like what Erik does, but
It sounds like me. Yeah.
Yeah, but look at what it like morphed into. It morphed into, I need every single unique
I know, and it
cover art.
worries me. It worries me so much.
It's true, though. Like, so I think the finished set was definitely the first one that once I saw like each book, I was like, I have to have that whole set because the cover arts are just so fun. They just are so reflective of like what Harry Potter is to me. So yeah, that is definitely my favorite complete set.
I agree 100%, and I have this whole set.
Yay!
See?
Yes. I know. And I have all the pre-movie that they have available, which are the first three books.
It is the first three. I actually only have book 1 pre-movie. I need to get to 2 and 3.
Oh man,
They're getting harder to find.
I may
They
have
really
a pre-movie finish, but it would be in my for sale boxes, which is like 16 boxes right now to go through.
All right, just put it to the side.
So I'll have to see if I do.
All right, we'll figure that out. We'll talk.
Okay. Okay.
All right, Carly, what's your favorite set?
My favorite, well, it's just so hard because I like all of the sets we've talked about today for different reasons sometimes. But I love the 20th anniversary Lithuanian set. They're very elegant. Like I look at them and, you know, the new Slovak books, they have fun covers and they're very magical and all of that's really very true. And then the new Thai and 20th anniversary German, but these are like quieter elegance. The illustrator did a lot of really interesting things with light, the juxtaposition of light versus dark. So it really like the light parts of the cover really, it's almost like somebody turned on a light. It lights up the whole cover and the parts that are darker really get really dark. And the way that the illustrator played with the light is beautiful to me. They're very elegant. They're just not the loud in your face that you get with like the new Slovak or the 20th anniversary German or any of the ones we've talked about. They're just very quietly elegant and beautiful, and I was just so drawn to them.
I would even say like they look kind of mature,
Yeah,
yet still
childlike.
Definitely like childlike, and it's like you said, it's very elegant. It's done so in a way that looks magical. Like on the shelf, you can still see the sparkly stars on the spine. You can still see them, but it's just so, I don't know. It just looks adult in a kid way,
right?
If that makes any sense.
However, the illustrator chose to do that, I don't know. Very well done. And again, we see some different images that we don't usually see on the cover, so I'm a big fan of that too.
I agree with that. I love that, like, book 1, it's just, they just use such, like, high levels of contrast. I think that's what's really nice.
I think the juxtaposition there is just so neat. And it looks like Harry's, like, in book 1, you can actually, like, almost feel the warmth of the light coming from his closet.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's also, like, it just is so catchy because it's opposite colors on the color wheel. Like, it's, like, yellowy gold with a dark deep blue. Like, it just draws you in completely. So I love this set.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love how it feels.
It looks like nothing else that's there too.
Right. Right. So that, it was a hard call, but I just had to make sure that those got a mention.
And those are still available too?
Yeah.
I think, was that our first ever translation of the show?
I think so. And they're not hard to find.
Lithuanian? No, they're not.
I would have to remember. I don't remember the first translation of the show, actually.
Hold on. I could tell you guys.
It's a good thing we have the notes up, Carly.
I know. I'm glad someone is prepared.
Was Lithuanian, guys. It was. And I wasn't even around for it. And I could just tell you, because of these beautiful notes in front of me, that it was Lithuanian. So there you go.
Good job. Good job, Erik.
He's a good note taker.
He's a great note taker.
All right. Well, I think we did it. And obviously, those aren't our like be all end all. I just,
but they're definitely covers that draw us in. Like every time I go into my book room, or if I have people come over, it's like, ooh, look at this cover. Isn't that neat?
I get it.
Yeah, they're the covers I show people when I say, look at this neat cover. Right. Because I think we should do one at some point about, here are some covers I show people to just get them to go, what is that?
I think it would be the same covers.
Probably.
Guys, ripping on Occitan again? Come on.
And a few others.
And a few others.
All right.
Well, I think that's it.
Yeah.
Should we move on to the old translation of the show,
Yes,
Carly?
let's do the translation of the show. The translation of today's show is Albanian, which is very cool. There's actually 4 different covers for the Albanian books. None of them are original. The first Albanian cover was the Mary Grand Pré cover, which is actually really hard to find. Then we have the German cover, which is quite easy to find. And we have the Italian, the original Italian cover, which is also quite hard to find. And then there's a Johnny Duddle now, too.
Oh, wow.
I think it's crazy how they picked like 4 different covers from like 4 different countries.
Right. And no original artwork for themselves.
Right. It's not like they just picked the American books or the British books and just went with all the iterations that those countries have changed.
Nope.
They're like, the German one looks good. Let's do that. Italian's good too. Let's do that.
Yep. That's kind of what I feel like that happened. They're kind of touring the world with covers.
So Albania.
Who's the publisher of that? I know I'm interrupting you.
That is the
Dituria?
Publishing House Dituria.
That's right.
Yeah. And it's the same translator for all 7 books. And this individual's name is Amik Kasoruho.
And if you've read the Albanian, I would be curious if anyone's read the Albanian translations. We would love to know how good the translation is. So drop us a line at dialoguealleypodcast@gmail.com.
Albania is in the Balkan region of Eastern Europe. There's about 6 million native speakers of Albanian in the Balkans, 7.5 million global speakers. Albanian is actually an official language in more than Albania. So it's Albania, Kosovo, North Macedonia, and Montenegro.
Oh, wow.
But it's also recognized as a minority language in Italy and Serbia, as well as Romania and Croatia. So pretty much anywhere in the Balkan region of Eastern Europe, you will probably find some Albanian speakers.
Interesting.
Huh.
But I'm not one of them.
No, me either.
No, me either.
No, and I only have one of these books. I only have the German cover one.
Oh, I have my full Albanian set is the German covers, and then I have the Mary Grand Pré books 1 and 3, and then I have Johnny Duddle book 1 over in England waiting to come here.
Did we say that it also had the Italian cover?
Does.
It does, right? I remember that was like, I think I mentioned in the last episode when Erik and I were chatting that like when I first started collecting, I was trying to collect the books in alphabetical order. So naturally, Albanian was one of the first books that I tried to get. And I remember ordering it originally with the Italian cover, thinking like, how cool, like it's Albanian, but it has the Italian cover. And every single time I would order it, I think I ordered from 3 different websites that had the Italian cover art featured, and every single time I would get the German artwork, and I was just
that's
so
the one
disappointed.
That's the most common.
Oh, what
I
a
actually
bummer.
emailed the publisher to ask, like, when the U.S. cover was produced and in print, and when the German, and when the Italian, and all of that, because I would like to know, like, order of operations, and I wanted to figure out, because I didn't know at the time which one was easier to find, and very clearly it's the German. That's what everyone runs into.
Yeah, it's what a bummer.
Yeah.
I got mine from the librarian at my school, was on a cruise and went to Albania. She got me 2 books on this trip. It was an amazing trip. But she went to Albania and got me a book, and it was in this like roadside tourist shop. It looked like a circus tent. And the tour guide was like, here's the bookshop. Who wanted to go in? And she was like, me. And went in. And I think that was the first Harry Potter book she got for me. And it was, she remembered like not knowing where to look in the store, but then she found like all of these like kids books, and I can't remember what series caught her eye. I don't know if it was like Diary of a Wimpy Kid. I think that's what caught her eye. And she's like, oh, it's got to be near this one. So she ended up getting that book for me in Albania, which was cool because I don't know anyone else that's gone to Albania, let alone bought me a book in Albania.
I'll tell you someone that's in Albania, and I can't even mention his name because it's he who must not be named.
Oh,
That's
gosh.
where he likes to hide out.
You had me going for like
A
10
few
seconds
because I was like,
wait a
really
second.
who?
That's where he likes to hide out, guys. Watch out.
No, so I will give a huge shout out to my colleague that I work with because she got me this book, which is awesome.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent.
I love getting them, like Melanie, you and I talked about that. I love getting them from a story, not just like a website.
Right.
Totally.
Unless the website has a story too. But
Same. I
Yeah.
like to get mine from stories and fun people rather than just like off eBay.
Yeah, that'll have to be something that we talk about one of these days is like some of our favorite book getting stories because I'm sure we
that should
all
be
have
a main
bunch.
episode. Yeah.
that should be the title too. Book getting stories.
Book getting stories. An episode about getting books and their stories.
Right. And some of them have quite a
Oh
few.
boy.
This
That would
storm is
be,
getting like really bad, you guys.
Oh,
no.
no.
Not good.
I'm
Well-
about to have to go hide again.
Oh, it's okay. Well, on that note, let's get into what we're currently reading or what we're currently watching.
I'm not reading nor watching anything
Nothing.
currently. No, I've just had so much going on that I'm really not doing much of anything besides trying to get things in order.
Gotcha. Eric, what are you doing?
I just watched, so I mentioned, I think 1 or 2 ago that I finished this is a robbery show on Netflix about the Gardner Museum art theft in Boston.
Yep.
Oh, neat.
Still unsolved. And naturally, it says, you might enjoy this too. So I did. I enjoyed watching Made You Look, which is another documentary that just came out in February. It was delayed because of COVID. And it was about the massive art forgeries that were being sold in New York City. A bunch of fake paintings that were being sold, like $86 million worth of fake art.
Wow.
So, kind of made me think about book collecting just in terms of how important it was for the people that were like seeing if this art was legitimate or not, like looking at the provenance of the art, like where it came from, who the previous owner was, who they bought it from, where they bought it from, trying to track it back all the way to the original owner, which in this case would be the artist. But just made me think about that for some of the books that we've bought. Like some of them I can trace back to who bought it or who sold it to who, because they do change hands every now and then between a few collectors. So I don't know, kind of made that parallel. Not that any books I have are fake that I know of. I sure hope not. I don't think anyone's making fake
No, probably
translations of Lithuanian Harry Potter
Not that we
to
know
look
of.
like the real one. Not that we know of. But anyway, if you like documentaries, I would recommend watching it, especially if you don't know a ton about the art collecting world, because it really is so interesting to me how things are valued and how values change and how something can be worth literally nothing, even though it is a stunningly beautiful painting. It's just not done by this person, which is crazy to me. But I get it at the same time. How about you, Melanie?
Well, I'm still watching Lost. I just went back to work this past week, so my binging is a bit on hold. So, still watching that. Also always watching The Office. That's our bedtime show. So we watch The Office, and that's like my middle of the night show as well. Every time I have to get up with the little baby. I mean, I always recommend watching The Office because it's just the most amazing, like, feel good show. Like you can't not be happy while watching The Office. So
Have you seen the unused cold open with Dwight where they make like a whole Matrix thing? Like the start of the Matrix, they try to convince Dwight that he's in the Matrix.
No, but
and then they offer him a way out.
I'm literally gonna Google that like the second we're done with this podcast.
It is really. I don't know why they didn't use it. It's really good.
That's amazing. I've watched like a bunch of bloopers from it like 1,000 times. Anytime we're bored, we're like, "Ooh, wait, let's pop some bloopers on from The Office," and just so good. It's just what a great show.
Give that a watch and then text me what you think of the ending of it because I think it's hysterical.
Oh, that I absolutely will.
It will take 4 minutes of your time.
Awesome. It is getting late by me, so it might not happen tonight, but I'm gonna try my best to get that going. All right, so for tonight, we're gonna have to do a pass on our questions that we got. We got a ton of stuff at our Gmail account, so we were thinking about doing another episode where we answer a whole bunch of questions all at once. So if anyone has any more questions that they would love for us to talk about on an episode, you can send us an email at dialoguealleypodcast@gmail.com. So that's going to be all we have time for today. So if you want to get in touch with me or any of us, you could always send us an email at that email. You could reach out to me at the Harry Potter Collection on Instagram, or you can check out my website, theharrypottercollection.com. And you can also find Erik.
I'm Erik. I'm on Instagram at Nocturne Erik.
I'm Erik.
I feel like we're also going to have to post a lot of pictures on the Dialogue Alley podcast Instagram because we talked about a ton of stuff.
Absolutely.
So we'll try to get as much on there as we can. However, you might end up having to just go to Carly or Melanie's websites to look at more pictures of these books because we talked about a ton, especially like we talked about Swedish Book 1, but all the Swedish books are awesome. So,
right.
Go to a website and look them up. Or even you could probably just Google some of these covers as well, especially if they're still for sale. So there's that. But yep, I'm on Instagram, Nocturne Erik with a K.
Yes, and I'm Carly, All the Pretty Books. You can find me on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, my website, alltheprettybooks.net. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out.
Yeah, and remember you can, again, find us on Instagram at Dialogue Alley Podcast. You can find this podcast on Apple, Google, or any of your favorite podcast hosting locations. So now it is time to walk back through that archway, grab a drink from your favorite porous pot pub or your chipped chalice, and back into your daily lives. We'll catch you next time.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
See ya.